Instead of prostitutes, the vicious Green River Killer might be in jail.
This is my girl, and she's not trash.
Plus, hard criminals, addicts who built new lives, and the woman who helped. Watch 2020 tonight.
'89 was a big year, from the hottest stories to the most touching, funny moments. Join us for a special year-end review next fall.
Friday afternoon at 4, here on Channel 5.
For 5 incredible days, $49 down delivers at Coon Rapids Chrysler Plymouth and McKay Lincoln Mercury. 49 down delivers an '89 Mercury Sable for $88.80. 49 down delivers a new Voyager with automatic and air for $10,990. In fact, $49 down will deliver any one of over 500 new and used cars and vans during the incredible World Auto Sale. Through Saturday only at Coon Rapids Chrysler Plymouth and McKay Lincoln Mercury.
It's the Water Bedroom's gigantic 5-day after Christmas clearance sale. Through Saturday at 5 p.m. Pay no money down, have no payment, plus no interest till July. And receive special year-end sale prices on a complete selection of water beds, bedrooms, day beds, and brass beds. Don't miss this fantastic opportunity to save during the Water Bedroom's 5-day after Christmas clearance sale. With 6-month interest-free financing and no payment until July. Hurry, the sale ends Saturday at 5 p.m. at all Water Bedroom superstores.
Pat Sajak and Kirstie Alley.
Good morning, I'm Bob Bruce, welcoming you to a special edition of Twin Cities Live. Once again, we've reached our last broadcast day of 1989. And as with all endings, we tend to look back and reflect on what this past year has really held for us. For Twin Cities Live and our viewers, it's held many magical moments that we feel deserve a second look. This morning, we'll take you on a video journey and share with you our favorite memories of the past year. Some we knew we would never forget the moment they happened.
The first time I stood on a frozen lake, I actually recorded it on videotape. Sent it back home. You know, there I was standing on a frozen lake. It was amazing.
You can drive on them. You can drive your car on a frozen lake.
Yeah, you can.
Put your,
never cease.
Put your ice
Doggone it, we didn't know that, did we? We didn't know that.
And the ice houses. The first time I saw them, I said, look, Kent, look at all those houses out there on that lake. They look like outhouses. That's what I thought they were, and I couldn't imagine all those outhouses sitting out there on that frozen lake.
Bob, I can say that I'm wearing my lucky underwear today. Well, actually, it's
Please don't say why it's lucky,
well,
okay?
no, it's just that by Friday, it's lucky to find underwear, is what I'm saying.
And you are?
Maggie.
Maggie. And which your mommy's up there?
My mom and my dad.
Your mom and your dad. Okay, so it's Jim and Ann, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you had a question for your mom?
Mm-hmm.
What was it?
Well, Mom, I'm going to ask you, when you were in high school or any year, age, or younger, did you ever dream about marrying anyone besides Daddy?
Absolutely.
Let me bring in Dick Erickson here, a licensed consulting psychologist, and talks about, to many people around the country, about the mysteries of things that motivate us. Fear is a great motivating factor for many people, as we've heard this morning. What is it about, are these people pretty common? Are there a lot of us like this?
I think they're all crazy, myself.
I like them. I like the feel I get with them on me. They make me different. I'm different.
Uh-huh.
I am different. They stand out like I stand out.
But, you know, you can do that with clothing. You can do that with...
I just accept my tattoos with my clothes.
Yeah, but you like the way they feel.
Yeah.
You're a veteran of the force now. Aren't we polite here? I mean, this is Minnesota.
That's right. Minnesotans have a tradition of being God-fearing, law-abiding citizens. And when you see this aggressive driving that's occurring out there on the roads, my only statement is that those are people who have come in from other states who are occupying our highway.
They're all from Iowa.
Right.
Well, we're very polite, aren't we? We're very polite people in Minnesota. We are, even on the highway. But ooh, we get mad. We do. Oh, but you know, we go beyond the obscenities, beyond the gestures. I'm going to do my impersonation of a Minnesotan really ticked off on the highway. We're mad, you know it, because we get right alongside people. Into the eye contact range. And then we go, get your motor on. Get on the highway.
is the number one thing that you'd want to do? Maybe we shouldn't ask Paul this question. What is the number one thing you'd want to do when you finally get time together? The number one thing.
Everything. There are so many things we have to do and want to do that there isn't enough time in the day.
You say that, it comes across as that you're missing a lot. You're missing out on a lot in your life.
We make dates. I mean, literally dates where we go out to dinner, dress up, go out to dinner every couple of weeks. And that helps a lot.
Barry, what would you do? Get naked and do the antler dance? How about for you, Craig? What would you?
I wasn't listening.
We got some sharp ones here, don't we? I mean, and it took us months to find these guys.
I think you ought to take a look at his shoes instead of mine.
Look at his shoes. I don't know.
You can't even afford socks.
We're talking 11 sex here now.
I thought this was a study of twins at the University of Minnesota. Wrong show, okay?
What? Is this for a man here?
This is for a man. Are you ready?
This. Yeah, can you hold that
Sure.
right there? Let me just take this off. And I want to just... Oh, come on. It's not... I mean, I just took my coat off.
After my makeover, I would like to look like Indiana Jones.
Well, what does he look like today? Here he is, Ken Christo, today. Indiana Jones, indeed. Good morning, I'm Bob Bruce. Welcome to Twin Cities Live. Sister, a little more to the left over there, would you please? Oh, thank you. Oh, is this...
Oh, wow.
Is this... What are you doing there, sister?
Oh, I'm just giving it a little massage here. It's a little tense areas.
Yeah, I have been feeling tense lately.
Yeah.
Can you take care of that? The upper
certainly
neck area?
can.
And...
Without a problem.
Oh, yes. And I'll lose weight doing this, too, won't I?
Yeah, oh, no doubt, of course.
Oh, boy. Dane Sealing. Dane is 5'10", 155 pounds, brown hairs, brown eyes. Okay. All right. Favorite movie? Amadeus. Man has class. You know? And what is your date package?
I am going to be...
Excuse me, what'd you say?
I didn't say that.
Oh, you said it? What did you say?
I said he's hot.
He's hot. This little animal is what's its name?
Oh, that's a two-toed sloth that I brought back from Costa Rica.
Yeah, do me a favor, will you, Andy? Can you kind of pull the claws off the back of my neck? Could you just kind of easily pull it right? Yeah. Oh, okay. Thank you, Teddy.
And this is Teddy. He's real excited right now, as you can see. He's moving around very quickly.
Let me bring this young lady. It's kind of dark up here. We've got a big audience. Do you want to come with me? You wanted to ask. Nobody else would raise their hand, but you raised your hand because you wanted to answer a question. Can you...
I wanted to ask a question.
Okay, well, go ahead.
How did the basketball players get to be so tall?
There are a lot of college coaches and pro coaches that have been wanting to know that, too. Why... Sam, how'd you get to be so tall? No, wait a minute. Let's get the tall one here. Can you stand up, Gary, for a second?
I think so.
Is there enough line on this? Take a look at this. You want to see... All right, now I'm about 6'2". I'm right around there. Look at this. This guy's tall. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome the soft-spoken Morton Downey Jr.
Oh.
Now, there was a young man in the audience who felt I couldn't even get through the first world. Oh, no, wait. All right, if you have not seen your child, what's this? That I think gives me an extra life. Wait. Oh, I don't think I did good very well there. So anyway, if you're a parent and you can see how the people, this is outrageous. These people are just going nuts. Oh, well, there you have it. Could you give me your name?
Try to say your name as hard as you can.
Is Sally or whatever? What's your name?
Try. Ask her name. Try to say your name.
This poor second grade teacher is never going to be able to work again.
I love her.
And your name, ma'am? You just told him 5 minutes ago.
All right.
No.
She can talk. Well, you teach second grade? How long have you teach second grade?
11 years.
What's your name? Try to say your name. Try as hard as you can to say your name. Try. Isn't that, you want to ask, isn't that wild?
Okay. Look that direction, you'll be fine. All right.
I could be in radio after this. You know?
All right, well, are you nervous?
Yeah.
Actually, I was talking to John.
Yeah, a little bit, you know. I mean, I've never done this before. Well,
okay, good luck.
Here we go. Hey-ya! Whoosh! All right, they're getting faster. Here we go. And now they're getting really fast, Bob.
Oh, yes.
All right, let's hear it for Bob. Give it a big hand. All right.
It isn't any trouble just to S-M-I-L-E, all right? The music, you have the words, here we go. Everybody up with your stick. What a great group.
This is what?
Oh,
but I'm not going to do this.
There is...
Johnny, this is stupid. What do you bring me here for?
It isn't any trouble just to S-M-I-L-E. So smile when you're in trouble. It will vanish like a bubble if you only take the trouble just to S-M-I-L-E. It isn't any trouble just to L-A-U-G-H.
Now, Heartland Music presents the rich, warm voice of Don Williams in a special collection of his best-loved hits.
I feel her put her arms around me, and it's a good feeling I'm knowing. Oh, I've got a good woman, and we've got a good fire going. I want to hear a heartbeat in the darkness.
Don makes every song so real, so personal.
Oh, that's the thing about love. Some broken hearts never mend.
All of Don's most beautiful hits.
Yeah, what do you do with good old boys like me?
2 great albums.
Lord, I hope this stays good.
This special Don Williams collection is not sold in stores. Please stay tuned.
Save all additional charges. Send check or money order for only $12.98 for 2 albums or 2 cassettes, or $19.98 for 2 compact discs to Don Williams, P.O. Box 4326, Department C, Huntington Station, New York. Remember to save all additional charges. Send check or money order.
We call a year in review. Even though the subject matter of our show changes on a daily basis, one thing is constant. Everyone seems to have an opinion, which is at times in direct opposition to others on the show. We have seen more than once our guests, our studio audience, and our viewers from home expressing their points of view, even when they are contrary to popular thought. There are a lot of women that are barely making it. They're not making as much money as the men in the same job, and they're trying to get through. They can barely put food on the table, and when they get home, if they've got enough energy to take a bath before they go to bed, it's a major accomplishment. And then to put
So
upon
when do
them
they
that
have time to take care of their kids? This lady doesn't have to work if she didn't want to. You make your choices in your life.
How can, wait a minute.
Let's give me a chance to talk.
How can you say that? How can you say this? Wait. I must stop you for a moment here because it would be an insult to a lot of working women in this country. There are women in this country that have to work.
People make their own choices.
I live in an open marriage. I am. 3 of us have been living together for 6.5 years.
The 3 of us?
Yes. And
you, your husband, and...
Another woman. And the 2 of them have been together for 17 years. But that's irrelevant. Actually, I was on Oprah about this. She was right. She thought.
I didn't know that.
But, so for me, the...
just an everyday family, isn't it? Yeah.
A lot. I go shopping. I do the cooking. You know, she does the cleaning. I wash the dishes. We watch the news. You know, I make coffee in the morning. I mean, it is pretty normal.
Do you even believe you're hearing this? Do you even believe what you're hearing?
I don't believe I'm here, Bob.
I guess the only
what troubled me was the fact that she has derived the sympathy from people who simply do not know the facts. And I can understand how that can happen. It's a very emotional issue, and people tend to side either with the mother or the father based upon a gender breakdown, for example. And people, I just wish that people would take an impassive look at the facts in this case, and unfortunately, because it's been a long, protracted court battle, which began so many months ago, it's impossible for the average person to do so without spending a great deal of time.
These are 2 cards that were sent to my first guest on her first anniversary. Now, let me read them. On the cover, it says, "Sharing Your Sorrow." Does that give you a hint? What's on the inside? Listen to this card. "Sharing your sorrow and hoping it will comfort you to know that many hearts reach out to you in sympathy and love." Love, Mother and Dad. This is on her first anniversary she got this. And to make matters even worse, this one is signed, I don't know if you'll be able to see this, signed by a bunch of relatives. See all the names on there? And this was in a message of comfort to you. This message is a special one. It's coming from the heart for others want to help you, but they don't know where to start. They want to bring you comfort now and try to lend a hand. They want to keep reminding you they care and understand. That's another sympathy card. And this was sent to you?
Yes,
On your first anniversary from your relatives?
from my mother-in-law.
Do you think people look upon you as a zombie, someone who is entranced by
My
that?
wife does sometimes.
Oh,
Sometimes takes away
that's
from.
disgusting.
No, it's
It is. I mean,
No.
if your wife is being deprived of a relationship with you because of TV,
No.
that to me
That's a little
is
strong. I mean, I don't, sit in a corner
Well,
and quiver
I'd
while I'm
like
watching
to talk
the
to
show.
her about it. I would love to have a conversation with
I'm
her
sure you
about
would.
what she feels about TV.
We don't force customers into solid gold at gunpoint and make them watch. We don't force entertainers in and make them dance. Unfortunately, what everybody has to realize is that in the United States of America, the Constitution lets you make your own choices, whether they're good or bad choices.
Did you know that as you moved on and you committed rape again, did you know what you were doing was wrong?
I knew it was wrong, but it didn't stop me from doing it, because when I hurt other people. That's how I responded to being hurt.
Now, in the midst of prostitution, for some people who may not be that familiar with it, you say you were hurting, you didn't have any money, but you were being paid money for prostitution. Where was all the money going?
I'd used some of that money for food, but in turn, I got caught up. I didn't like what I was doing. I was frightened every time I left the house.
Were you into drugs?
Yeah, I got into cocaine really heavy. Crack, I was smoking like a half an ounce a night.
Now, where are you at now, Beth? I mean,
I had 27 over the course of my life here. I'm down to 2.
To make a long story short, there he was with absolutely no props or any kind of...
Just his hands?
Yeah, and I knew that he had been studied by the Swedish medical board, by the German medical board, and they had him perform these stripped nude in a room so that there was no possibility of fraud or chicanery or props.
So what did he do?
He literally kneaded the skin very gently of my friend, and he went, she had an abdominal problem too. His 2 hands went into her skin, into the internality of her body is all I can say, up to here. I looked below, and there they were, inside of her body. She felt no pain whatsoever, and he extracted what he called negative energy clots. I don't know what that means. And he took out these clots and put them in a bowl.
Okay, now we've heard that some psychic surgeons actually use instruments, and that's what I'm going to need to do in this case. Okay, relax, breathe deeply. Now just breathe naturally. is a big one. Okay, we're getting quite a bit of fat and cholesterol in your diet.
How bad did it get, especially when you were in your internship and perhaps in medical school? What kind of drugs were you using and how deeply? Because a lot of people would say, well, if she went through medical school and you even won an award for being the intern of the year where you were at, that she couldn't have been taking that many drugs and couldn't have been that deeply involved. How deeply involved were you?
I'd been shooting drugs for 8 years before I was ever even accepted into medical school, and I'd been using on a daily basis since I was 13. If not alcohol or marijuana, some powder, some pill, anything that I could use. The last couple of years of my residency, I was using 12 different drugs on a daily basis. I overdosed on heroin when I was a sophomore in medical school, and I had a cardiac respiratory arrest.
Do you really believe, just as with the movie The Last Temptation of Christ, excuse me, that the director, Scorsese, that one man in one little movie is going to destroy Christianity, or one man in one book is going to destroy Islam?
But the thing you have to realize is that we're not talking about one book and one man. We're talking about a history of attacks and showing the religion in a bad light. So we're not talking about one book. This is a culmination of things. And I think what happened is, for most Muslims, like, here the West goes again attacking something that is sacred to us. And it wasn't just one book, but like I said, it's a history of always projecting our religion as a bunch of fanatics, a history of always showing us in a bad light. Why weren't the peaceful demonstrations showed?
Well, but
They should have been.
This paranoia may or may not be justified. I don't know, but I do know that the concern about the intrusion on the First Amendment that has been the result of this action is something we should all be very afraid of.
I don't know. I had to prove myself when I got here. I had got into fights, trying to prove to myself and to other people that I'm young, but I'm not gonna be taken advantage of. Mm-hmm. And I see every day, people get strong-armed, people getting raped, literally, I see all kind of stuff. It's wild. It's just, you gotta fight. You gotta fight.
You talk about the viability at the moment of conception, but yet you need
I don't talk about
Let
the
me
viability.
finish. You were able to talk. A microscopic lens you would need to even view any visibility. In fact, there is absolutely no development of vital organs. When a woman has a miscarriage, we don't say she had a premature baby or an early delivery. The pregnancy did not progress far enough to have a developed baby. She loses a mass of blood and tissue. Fetuses don't have birth certificates. You cannot change diapers. They do not have bottles to be fed. And let me just quickly, one comment, Dr. Miller. Can we please concentrate on the already 1 million children who are homeless living on the streets of America?
That doesn't give us the right to take a human...
Thousands of unwanted children who are bounced from falling...
Let her respond. Go ahead.
I understand. But that does not give us the right to take a human life. It is.
Would you?
Why do we enjoy alpine lace, low cholesterol, and lower in sodium cheeses?
Because they're so delicious.
And we take care of ourselves.
Take care of yourself. Delicious alpine lace, low cholesterol, and lower in sodium cheeses.
That was Beethoven's Fifth Symphony, newly recorded especially for a treasury of golden classics. This superb collection, performed by the world's most famous orchestras, also features the music of Tchaikovsky and Mozart. You'll hear thrilling overtures, haunting sonatas. In fact, every well-known symphony and concerto ever written. Plus, you'll get the greatest hits of the 17th century and this collection of Strauss waltzes, both absolutely free. This superb collection should cost $30 or $40, but it can be yours now for only $19.95. Here's how to order.
This year, give a Christmas gift of lasting value. Use your credit card and call 1-800-852-8600 or send $19.95 for records or cassettes, $29.95 for compact discs, plus $4.50 postage and handling too. A treasury of golden classics, P.O. Box 2001-ST, Murray Hill Station, New York, New York.
All three Twin City stations give you local news, but only one gives you more of it around the clock. If you're serious about the news, there's only one. Minnesota's news channel, KSTP 5. There's something more in it for you.
You know, our show has a way of bringing people together. Sometimes sparks fly, sometimes we're caught off guard, but more often than not, we are filled with warmth as our guests share their tender moments with us. It is reassuring to know that there are others who have come up against great difficulties in their lives and have been able to emerge stronger as a result.
I guess I was like all other women. I was worried about losing my hair. I dealt with the breast.
Seems to be a big thing here is the hair.
No, it was for me. I mean, a baldness for men is something that people won't look twice at, where a woman, it's just not the same. So Jerry went home and shaved his head. And unfortunately...
You shaved your head to make...
It's a funny story. She was so worried about losing her hair, and after having the mastectomy and that, and I know for a woman, a hair is a great part of her sexual being, more so than I ever knew before. And it seemed like that was the one thing she wasn't going to be able to deal with. So, like I was saying, I would just turn to humor, and I thought, well, hey, no hair, that's no big deal.
But he still looks good with the shaved head.
You still look good with a shaved head, and you felt a little...
And I didn't lose my hair.
You didn't lose your hair? So he shaves his head, you didn't lose...
Well, then I went in the bathroom, and I shaved my head with a Bic razor right down to the skin. And I was all set for her to lose her hair, and then she never lost it.
I had to walk around bald. But I didn't go.
Some women never cooperate.
Ken, you speak out for a lot of citizens in this state that don't have the ability and can't get out there and fight for some of their rights and some of the things that they need.
Yes, that's correct. I've been doing it for 7 years, and I love my job very much, and I'm here to serve the handicapped people, and I'm going to try my best to make sure that everybody who works can earn a wage that's not too high or low, one check from the boss. I'm going to fight. I'm going to keep on fighting. I want one check from the boss at a wage that's not too high or low. I get a monthly check right now, and I can only earn $300. I don't like it, and I'm going to fight and fight and fight, and I'm going to change it.
When did this station go on the air, KSTP?
Well, in 1948. Remember? It became an NBC affiliate.
An NBC affiliate?
And switched to ABC on March 5th, 1979.
March 5th, 1979.
Yes.
Do you remember when I started doing this program?
A few years ago, in 1986.
Mm-hmm. Can you give me the date when President Reagan was shot?
March 30th, 1981.
What day, Steve, what day will my birthday fall on this year?
On, in March.
March 7th, is it?
March 7th.
Mm-hmm. What day will it fall on, do you know?
Tuesday.
What day will it fall on in 1992?
Well, 1992 on a Saturday.
And I had made the mistake, along with a couple of other actors on the show, hiring an agent to get us work, not on Howdy Doody, not to represent us there. In fact, we had specifically told him that he was not to represent us on Howdy Doody, but we wanted to do other shows and other things. And it threatened Bob and the management of the show, which I certainly can understand. And they said, get rid of the agent or leave the show.
And they dumped you.
And, well, I didn't mind them dumping me. The way they did it was what I really minded.
But basically, the way you were separated from your mother and father, you have not seen your mother and father in how long?
For 14 years.
For 14 years.
Mm-hmm.
And when you were separated from them, taken from them, you were not told that you were leaving them.
Right. My brother-in-law, who is American, he came to my house, and at that time, in 1975, the war was getting so bad, so he asked my parents to brought me and my other younger brother and sister away from Vietnam. He told my parents that he will raise us in the U.S. But in order for my parents to let us go, they did not tell me the truth. They said that we will go to Thailand first for about 2 weeks. after everything's okay, I will go back home to Vietnam. So at that time, the day that I left, I did not know that I would never see my parents again. My parents was very happy in a way that we're going to have a good education and a good life here. But at that time, I was kind of happy because I thought it's going to be a vacation for me. You're going to take 2 weeks off and then come back home. I didn't have a chance to say goodbye to the parents, to give them a hug, anything. But I never forget, when we left, my mom started to cry.
Many people have misconceptions about what it's like to live with Down syndrome. What has it been like for you, and how is your life going?
Well, I think that many people don't know what the subject is, you know, Down syndrome, and they have misconceptions that they're like people who don't have a life.
Yeah.
Pretty much. And I have a life, and I've lived it to the fullest.
Well, I think that what we're talking about helps children and grandchildren see life in a new way. It's like opening a new door for them to walk through, and maybe they have a stereotyped idea of a grandparent, but suddenly they see Grandma riding her motorcycle. Now, I wouldn't do what Leona does for anything in the world. I drive 45 miles an hour, and I've been picked up 4 times for driving too slow.
We live in very cynical, very skeptical times. There is, after Watergate, a kind of a feeling that that nothing is as it seems, that no one is what they say they are. We've become so suspicious, and the suspicion has almost become institutionalized in the process of journalism. And I think that that's not necessarily a bad thing, but it gets very boring when these pundits or these experts or these critics continually question my sincerity. I think that what they're really doing is looking at themselves and reflecting on their own lives and their own commitment to truth. This is all there is to me.
I want to save hand-holding, kissing, caressing, and sexual intercourse until I'm actually married. Desire number 14,
Wait. Before we go on, let's just stay back on that one, okay? No hand-holding?
It's not a rule, it's something I want to do, because now I understand what I always like the most about hand-holding, or any romantic affection. That is, its connection with lasting love. I only want one person to be in love with and to spend the rest of my life with. So I'm going to wait until I know who that person is before I express that kind of love.
I never publicly dressed in women's clothes until much later in my life. When I finally sort of came out of the closet, you might say, I wrestled with it. I knew it was not right. I had great guilt feelings. I had nervous breakdowns through life. I tried to overcome this feeling by turning the other direction, by becoming extremely macho, playing soccer. I never lacked friendships, dated only girls. Now I don't date anymore, my wife would kill me. But no, I had the perfectly normal male-to-male relationship as I would have with you if I weren't dressed this way.
I think the kids, if you sit back and you look at them, you could learn a whole lot from them. You could learn a ton from them. I've noticed it as I've been traveling around, I noticed the audiences, and the moment you mention cancer in kids, the looks on their faces change, and all of a sudden you had this, you know. And I look out and I think, my gosh, that's what these kids see all the time. That's what they see. Every time someone sees a bald-headed child or a child with a prosthesis, they look at them, and all of a sudden, their whole attitude, their whole face changes, their whole body language changes. It's pity. These kids don't need your pity. They need your support. They need your care, but they don't need your pity. I mean, pity doesn't do anything.
Millions of people saw silent movies and ever hoped to see a sound movie. So that those 3, Chaplin and my stepmother, Mary Pickford, and my father, were, as I say, better known and more widely seen than anybody either before or since. It'd just be impossible to duplicate the kind of fame they had.
Have you had any problems since you've been over here? Or any things you've had, not really problems, but say maybe some of the food you didn't like, or maybe it was a little uncomfortable and that, no, you liked all the food?
No. Oh, yeah.
You liked all
Except the casserole.
This wouldn't be one of those casseroles that I've had a lot of church functions, would it? One of those things with like string beans in it. And
I think it's worse.
You think?
What do you hear what it's made of? It's made of tuna fish and noodles.
Oh, yeah, yeah. We all know, audience, we all know that casserole, don't we? But Karina, someone tells me that you sing America the Beautiful.
Yeah.
Absolutely beautiful.
Thank you.
Now, would you sing just a couple of verses of that for us? Because I hear it is magnificent. Will you sing that? Go right ahead. Go ahead, stand up. Belt it out.
Oh.
We decided to sing all together.
Okay, go right ahead.
Probably will go with us. You know the words.
Some of us may not know all of them. Go ahead.
Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for embodied so great, for purple mountain majesties, and all the fruited grain. America, America, God sends His grace on thee, and crown the good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea.
Excellent.
This winter white sale is alive with the color and excitement of Showtime and the Disney Channel's 2-for-1 low-price savings. For openers, cable TV gives you great variety. And right now, great savings on installation. Plus, you get a terrific double deal. Both Showtime and the Disney Channel for one low price. See red-hot Showtime hit movies.
Twins. What do you think of me?
Plus Showtime Championship Boxing, comedy, and more. Enjoy the magical world of the Disney Channel's quality family entertainment, original films.
I can't cook at all.
Exclusive specials, and Disney Nighttime after 9 p.m. Two great channels for one low price. Enjoy the best choices on cable TV, Showtime and the Disney Channel. Call 1-800-342-4360. Get a big discount on cable TV installation, plus Showtime and the Disney Channel, 2 for 1 low price.
You can be where I am if you know how to run a camera. I'm training in video at the School of Communication Arts. I wrote, directed, and edited this commercial. They also give you 80% hands-on training in lighting and audio. Call, find out how I'm doing it at 721-5357. That's the School of Communication Arts at 721-5357.
This is Nick Bockwinkel. New Year's Eve is coming. And don't celebrate New Year's Eve without a sparkling champagne from Chicago Lake Liquor. And as a special New Year's gift to you, Chicago Lake Liquor is offering 20% off by the bottle.
Now through December 29th.
So shop early and save from the largest selection and the lowest prices I've ever seen at Chicago Lake Liquor on Lake Street across from Sears in Minneapolis.
In the past year, we have been reminded how fragile life really is. We have met Minnesotans who have faced tragedy, adversity, and an unexpected crisis in their lives. They have been gracious enough to come public with some of their most personal and private challenges. We are a community that prides itself in being there for our neighbors and offering them the support and guidance that will help them through their time of need. Some of these people are unforgettable, and we will always remember their stories, and through their examples, never forget the importance of caring and giving to others in the time of need.
Dave Collins from the Kevin Collins Foundation told me that they have found children, and often the children, after a certain point, give up trying to come home because they've been told, they've been brainwashed that your parents don't want you anymore or you're not a good person anymore. And I just want Jacob to know how hard we are trying to find him and how much we love him, and we're waiting. We're waiting for the day that he comes home, and we're not going to give up.
How did you find out that, first of all, that he was gone?
My sister Pat was home, and it was January 4th, 1962, and he telephoned and said that he would be late, and was everybody okay? And she said yes, and nobody ever heard, saw nothing since.
Well, I've been a widow for almost 33 years. And I made my whole life my one daughter. And then after she had a child, I made my grandchild my whole life. And now my daughter's 40, my granddaughter is 14, and they tell me she's an adolescent. She says things sometimes that hurt me. I don't know if she means it or not. Like she'll tell me I'm a nobody. When I tell her, Erica, I'd like you to be with me. I'm lonely, I need you. My daughter says, we're not here to fulfill your loneliness. There are times I don't see my daughter for 3 months, 4 months, and she loses time. She doesn't even know how much time it's been since I've seen her last. And I came here to Minnesota to be with my daughter. I'm not from Minnesota. I'm from the East Coast.
You have the feeling they've become so involved in their own personal lives and that they don't have time for you.
That's right. My daughter keeps telling me I'm busy. I don't have time. When I hear I'm busy, I get so tight and so upset. I want to scream out. I've never been too busy for you. All my life. Whenever my daughter needed me, I was always there for her.
I moved to Minnesota 20 years ago because of my pregnancy. And then with the help of my best girlfriend, I went through counseling, I went through adoption agency, and had that support, and then decided that it was best for the child that I do give her up, so that she would have both a father and mother.
Telling yourself at that time that you would have, you were young, you'd have other opportunities to have children.
Yes, I fully believed that I would, later on, that I would have another child, and as circumstances turned out, I never did.
Consider yourself, and you say this yourself, you were a professional mental patient.
For 12 years. I spent 12 years going from psychiatrist to psychologist to mental health professional, finally wound up in the back wards of the mental hospital, where I was drugged into oblivion, where my therapy was making ceramic cups and playing volleyball, where I spent 2 weeks on my back in 4-point restraint in a room with no clothes and an army blanket and a rubber mattress on the floor and human waste on the walls, and this is called treatment.
Did you feel in the midst of this that the treatment, that what was going on, was helping you get better? Or were you constantly asking your question, why am I here?
Well, when you first go in, yeah, I kept saying, I don't belong here, I want to get out. But when you realize, after you've talked with some of the kids that have been there for months, you realize the only way you're going to get out is to play the game. And you learn
What do you mean,
real
play
quick.
the game?
Well, you give the right answers, you ask the right questions, you act the right way, you accept the program. Because if you don't, you're gonna stay in there for a longer time, because then you're rebellious. If you don't go with the system, you're considered rebellious. And I knew, if I didn't go along, I wouldn't get out.
A lot of things that happened with me was I just started feeling really down and really depressed. I felt like I couldn't get going. I couldn't get anything started. So I decided that, I needed to have control over something. I felt like I was losing control in everything that I did. At the time, I had twin sons, and I couldn't take care of them. I couldn't take care of my husband, let alone take care of myself. And so what happened with me is I just started controlling what I ate, basically, by starving myself. And I also felt, just really down. And by feeling so down, I just felt like I couldn't move. I just had to stay in bed. I just couldn't get out of bed. And when I did get out of bed, it seemed like there was so much pressure from everywhere, even though no one would be in the apartment. And so I got into a lot of other self-destructive behavior because I wanted to feel real, and nothing felt real.
All right, but you started 7, washing your hands again and again. But now, how fast did it progress? I mean, what at its height?
It didn't really. The hand washing and the changing of the clothes just lasted, I'd say, a couple months. My biggest one came when I was in 2nd grade, and it's one that I still have today. I was reading a book, and I was at the end of a book, and I finished the sentence, and I thought, okay, I'm done with the book. But all of a sudden, I had this horrifying fear that I somehow didn't do it right, and I was compelled to reread that sentence. And I read it over and over, hundreds and hundreds of times, and I got anxious, and the more I read, the more anxious I got.
When I saw Brad, he was laying on the bathroom floor. Paul had cut him down immediately. I said I had to see him. And I said, you can't leave him laying like that. We have to cover him up. And Paul says, we can't touch anything. And he knew, like he said, he had heard of this, but this had to do with an insurance claim of a young man years before. We didn't know that there was the numbers involved in it. The people who told us, it wasn't even the assistant coroner had been there for several hours, and he came up to our family. I suppose he'd been there about 2-3 hours. He came up, our family had all gathered by that time, and he explained what it was. He said this was an accident. Brad did not mean to end his life. He was just experimenting, and he did it wrong.
Two major experiments that were done on us repeatedly were experiments which evidently had to do with our central nervous system. We had injections given to both of us into the spinal column regularly.
Injections of what?
I don't know. I don't know. My sister died of convulsions. She never had convulsions before that, and she became a victim of repeated convulsions. In fact, both of us did. My sister died of them.
Did she die?
One night she began to convulse. She was always with me in the cage. One night she began to convulse. She never stopped. She went all night long. I tried to, I was 4.5 years old. Yeah. What can you do at 4.5 years old except be terrified, try to hold on to your sister, tell her to stop at anything. She stopped after what appeared to me almost all night long, and she was dead. When the doctor came to get her, she had been observed throughout the night, but nobody did a thing. Nobody did anything. Nobody answered my cries. Nobody did anything to help her. When he came to get her, Dr. Mengele himself came to get her, I opposed, because I had this bond with my sister. I had gone through everything with her, and she was my twin. And I raised my hand to him. He came back after having disposed of her body, whatever, took me out of the cage, and with a hammer-like implement broke every single bone of my right hand.
So you found out you had ovarian cancer in the middle of your pregnancy?
Yes.
What were your immediate thoughts, that I'm going to lose the baby?
That was, yeah. It was kind of funny because my immediate thoughts weren't for myself. Yeah. Not that, oh, I might die or whatnot. It was for my baby, because I naturally assumed that I was going to lose the baby. I'm a nurse myself, and I know in these situations where they like to do a hysterectomy in these cases, get everything out, and...
So what happened?
They gave me the choice whether or not to keep the baby, and I chose to keep the baby.
Well, you know, I think that it's important to realize that when you grow up in a family where there's alcoholism or any other kind of abuse, you know, where there's a difficulty, that, you know, my comedy came out of that. There was a, I don't know, there was a lot of abuse, and as far as verbal with me, and there was a lot of times when I felt very alone and I felt very isolated as a child. And I think that, you know, I learned to turn that stuff into comedy, and I want people to know where it came from, because there's a lot of people out there who are right now in that family, in that alcoholic family.
For 5 incredible days, $49 down delivers at Coon Rapids Chrysler Plymouth and McKay Lincoln Mercury. 49 down delivers an '89 Mercury Sable for $88.80. 49 down delivers a new Voyager with automatic and air for $10,990. In fact, $49 down will deliver any one of over 500 new and used cars and vans during the incredible World Auto Sale through Saturday only at Coon Rapids Chrysler Plymouth and McKay Lincoln Mercury.
If you use this leading corn oil, here's something new.
Crisco corn oil looks so light and clear. Crisco corn oil, there's no grease, it stays here.
Fry shrimp in new Crisco corn oil, and almost all of it comes back, so it's not absorbed here.
Here it is, Crisco corn oil, watch what it can do. Here it is, and just the flavor of your food comes through.
New Crisco corn oil.
Here it is, here it isn't.
Buy a 2-pack of 24-exposure Coca-Cola 35mm film from Walgreens. Get a mail-in coupon for free Coca-Cola Classic Diet Coke or Sprite. Details at Walgreens.
Here's a double good, double nickel deal from Walgreens Photo Center. Get a second set of 4x6-inch supersized show prints for a nickel a print, including a free $1.99 value album. Or get a second set of regular size prints for a nickel a print. The second set choice is yours, only at Walgreens.
The next time you're in downtown Minneapolis, try stopping off at this warehouse. It's the Litton Paper Company, and you've never seen anything like it. You see, Litton Paper is the largest party store in the world. Come discover aisles and aisles of paper and party supplies to choose from, with everything at discount prices. Have a Happy New Year with supplies and decorations from Litton Paper. Ha ha! So for all your party supplies, remember the name, Litton Paper.
Their past was sometimes challenging and sometimes extremely terrifying. There were many days when they didn't know if they would live or die. On Monday, January 8th, we're going to meet a group of young men who did not take freedom for granted. They are Hmong refugees who narrowly escaped the bullets of communism. One swam to freedom across the Mekong River to Thailand with his family in the middle of the night. The young men are now a part of an unusual Boy Scout troop right here in the Twin Cities. 641-1298 is the number to call for your free studio tickets to come down and meet Hmong Boy Scout Troop 100. Not only is the year coming to a close, but it's also the end of the 80s, and we're looking towards the 90s with high hopes for a healthy and peaceful place for all of us to live. Bringing it closer to home here at Twin Cities Live, we hope that we can continue to give you, our viewers, the opportunity to share your joys, air your frustrations, and show your support to your neighbors nearby. From myself and all of us on the staff at Twin Cities Live, we want to wish you a happy and prosperous new year. As we close our show, we want to leave you with an up note as we look back at one of our favorite memories at a truly Minnesota tradition, the State Fair. Here they are with great music, the Rupert's Orchestra.
Guests of Twin Cities Live stay at the Radisson Plaza Hotel, located in downtown Minneapolis, featuring the Festival Restaurant. Limousine service for the guests of Twin Cities Live is provided by Henderson Limousine, Minnesota's largest selection of corporate sedans, classic cars, and deluxe stretch limousines. Bob Bruce's wardrobe is provided by Cedric's International Fashions and Furs for men and women, located in the Galleria. Hair and makeup provided by Take 5, 504 North 1st Avenue in the Butler Building. For group reservations and a chance to let our viewers know about your organization's upcoming special events, call 641-1298 or write to Twin Cities Live, 3415 University Avenue, Minneapolis 55414.
80s.